full show now. I come alive in the nighttime where the lights are bright and the energy is high.
Oh. He's right here. Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Mm.
Nice!
Well, hello there, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. It is me, PieRatKing, here to talk with all of you lovely people. We're starting PieRat TV episode, I believe, 9?
Waddlebeard said you're still in DFT AFK, by the way.
Oh, well, Donka. Thank you. I'm testing out text-to-speech. We're going to see how well it does. That way, when I post it to YouTube, or eventually when
Waddlebeard said TTS to what?
We're testing out TTS from chat.
Waddlebeard said, "Oh God, it's going to interrupt you so bad."
I'm pretty sure it's going to. Ducky.
Pipebot said, "At Mimi Asainid is now hosting you."
I mean,
Waddlebeard
no,
said,
it's
"Is
not.
this annoying?"
It's not annoying. Let me adjust some stuff real fast.
Waddlebeard said, "How about now?"
Oh my goodness, ducks. Please. Alright, there we go. It was connecting this. Anyways, we're testing out TTS. We're going to see how it goes, because eventually when I do... plans are to make this into a podcast, to take all the audio, throw it into a podcast, and then post it online. And I think this will make it a little bit easier for people who do listen just straight to audio to understand what the conversation is going on. If it's on YouTube and people are watching, they could see the chat. That's why I started putting chat in.
Waddlebeard said him.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking today.
Waddlebeard said, "I have doubts."
Me too, ducks. Me too. I went through the list of the voices I could use, and this is the one that didn't cause me the most eye twitching. So we went with the Australian female voice. Maybe next time I'll just switch it up to UK English voice to, feel a little bit more classy around here. But today's episode is...
Waddlebeard said, "Why?" Mimi Asainid said, "MMM."
Why what? Why do I want to
Waddlebeard
class?
said, "You know for a fact I'm just going to say horrible shit to hear it in British."
I mean, you could do that already to hear it in Australian. Anyways, as I was saying, today's episode is going to be mostly about immigration into the United States. Certain aspects that I think, me personally, I think need to be changed. Certain things that are going on currently in the U.S. When it comes to immigration. And then get a little bit of y'all's input about it, because that's what this show is all about. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to start doing with the show. I think I'm going to start poking at little, current events of the week stuff, and we'll start doing a little bit more of that stuff. And then also apply it to, history and to, my own understanding of government and politics and the likes. And then, have y'all's input, because that's what this show's all about. We'll see. I don't want to be, just focused on one person or one thing every week. We've kind of touched base on immigration in the past, but I wanted to delve a little bit deeper into it. So I went and I pulled up a lot of information that I think will be a little bit helpful to understand. Oh my goodness, these children are going to drive me insane today. a little bit more information into our process of people coming into this country. I also wanted to touch a little bit on what's going on right now with Iran and the United States and how I feel about it, because it's something I think is very important. Me personally, being a veteran and being in the service during the beginning of Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom, I thank you. I have my own thoughts on what's going on right now, but I see it. It's starting to. Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that, Mimi. Let me copy this link and pull this up on my second browser. Hopefully it doesn't have an autoplay video. Okay, good. Because I'm just not a fan of those. So yeah, I don't know if y'all have all been paying attention, but I believe yesterday a U.S. drone was shot down by Iranian military yesterday, and the president, along with a lot of people in Congress, are looking to either take action or go or figure out what's going on. So last week, a couple oil tankers were attacked.
Said good old Daddy Trump.
Yeah, I we'll get into my feelings about what's going on right now with him. I'm not the biggest fan of Trump. I've made that very clear to my close friends. I didn't vote for him.
Bot said if you would like to follow the amazing PieRatKing in the Twitterverse, go to http twitter.com/PieRatKing.
I'll just let you do your thing, Cuddlebot. Thanks. This might get a little bit annoying. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Waddlebeard said, yeah, you shouldn't have TTS on.
Yeah, I probably will disable it here in another 10 minutes. We'll see if I'm still going crazy with it. I'm not the biggest fan of Trump. I didn't vote for him. I know a lot of people who did. I don't blame them. I don't blame people who hate him. I don't blame people who support him. That's their own damn right to do, because this is freaking America and we're allowed to do that. I don't hate the man. I just don't nothing him. I that's just me. But we were seriously on the verge of sending troops to that area. Well, no, I'm pretty sure we did send troops to that area of the world, to the Middle East, in a way to show, in a show of force, basically, to tell Iran we're not going to back down. Me personally, I don't agree with it. I think at all cost we should avoid getting into another conflict, especially in that area, and especially with Iran, who we don't know how far their nuclear program is, and we don't know if they're willing to use it. I mean, it's kind of like North Korea. How far is their nuclear program? Do we really know? Well, the public doesn't. Does the government know? And how willing are they to use that kind of weaponry on Americans or their allies or anybody? I'm not a fan of nuclear warfare. I don't care for it. I think it's senseless, and I think it's more of a let's kill a bunch of civilians who have nothing to do with it than an actual military conflict. Personally, when it's soldiers killing soldiers, it's, to me, that's not as much as it sounds bad to say. I'd rather that kind of incident than civilians being targeted ever. Civilians are, some of them don't support the things their government are doing. Why should they be targeted? Why should they lose their life? Soldiers, they sign up for it. Well, most of them. There's some countries that have a draft. Or that have
saying it said no collateral damage.
Yeah. Well, you can't say no collateral damage. There's always going to be collateral damage, Mimi. There will always be collateral damage. You just try to limit the amount of collateral damage. You try to limit the amount of civilian lives lost in warfare. It's the moral thing to do. And I know, morality is a very subjective It's very subjective, based on how you feel. But for me personally, and for a lot of people of this country, civilians' lives should not be taken during warfare. So that's why I'm not a fan.
Strike Virus said lightning drink.
Yeah, we're gonna have to turn TTS off. Hold on 1 second, because thank you TSP for the sparks. You're amazing.
Waddlebeard said, "Wait, why?" Waddlebeard said it was such a good idea.
Well, I mean, in
Strike Virus said, "Could you imagine if that was one of my gifts?"
Oh my goodness.
Waddlebeard said,
Definitely no flaws in the system. No flaws in the system. Thank you, Foxy. So as of right now, Trump has backed down from any full-on attack against Iran, even though the U.S. is claiming that the oil tankers that were taken down in the Gulf this past week were done by Iran, and even though we did have a drone shot down by Iranian military.
Hypebot said Mimi Hussein had just gifted a subscription to @FoxyPoison.
Thank you, Mimi, for the gift subscription. You're
Strike
amazing.
Virus said, "I don't like him, but I'll commend him on that action."
I forgot about this. There we go. And DSV, and that's what I was saying. I commend him on pulling back, because right now, as the information that's been released to the public, Iran is claiming that the drone was shot over their sovereign space, while the Americans are claiming that the drone was shot over the international waters of the Gulf, of the Persian Gulf. If it was shot over Persian Gulf, then the United States has a case to retaliate. If it was shot over Iran, then the Americans don't have a case. The United States doesn't have a case, and Iran had the case to shoot him down because that's their sovereign airspace. It'd be the same thing with if the United States shot down a drone or a spy, and especially if they were doing spying, a spy drone or a spy plane over the United States. We have that right to defend our airspace, no matter if we're in war or not, especially when it comes to spying from other countries. And every other country has that same right. So if the drone was shot down over Iran, then you just let it go. Let them have it. It sucks that you lost an asset, but at the same time, it's like they have every right to shoot it down. I'm extremely happy that we've backed away from the initial conflict, but that whole area right now is a hot mess, and it could be something that we're going to have to be watching for the next 5 to 10 years. And conflict with Iran has been going on for a long time. Since the 70s, we've had problems with Iran as a country. They've always been the bad guys that we've never really gone to war with. So it's going. Yeah, DSV. Yeah, don't remind people that the United States, in its infinite wisdom in the past, has installed many world leaders that we don't like. Yeah. Another thing that I have a big problem with. I have a really big problem with the United States getting involved in other countries that, just to help out in our own special way. And it's been going on for that. That's something the United States has done since World War II. We installed the government in Vietnam that were a bunch of dickheads, and honestly, to fight the communists that were trying to take over Vietnam, we install and support a government that are just as bad as the people we're fighting. The Banana Wars. I mean, a lot of South American countries, a lot of Central American countries, Panama. Like, We helped out Saddam Hussein. You know, we helped put the Taliban in power in Afghanistan. Like, this is things that we've done as a country over decades. And now it's like, okay, we need to fix all that we screwed up in the first place. At the time, they were, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but that's just not how it works. That's not how real world works. War is a racket. You know, that's a very interesting read, actually, DSV. That'd be interesting. I don't know if I ever would want to be a dictator ever, because you're going to end up dying by somebody else's hand. That's just how it works. That's how it works when you're a dictator. You end up, you know, ruling for a little bit and then you die because somebody kills you. Another country comes and invades, you know. So I just wanted to touch base on what's going on in Iran, because I think it's something that is important. I think it's something that is definitely very important right now. Yeah, I'd make everybody read 1984 10 times. But that's another story. Sorry. I got 1984 all back in my head again because I saw Daleks running around in California enforcing the law. You never read 1984, Mimi? Oh my goodness. There's a lot of yelling. Oh my goodness. Mimi, you need to read 1984. Orwell was a anti-authoritarian. 1984 is a fantastic film, or fantastic. You can watch the film. The film's just as good as the book. Read Fahrenheit 451, which a lot of people misunderstand as the government censoring, when it's really the people censoring themselves. So they give the government the power to censor. But it's something like, yeah, it's freaky. Oh, DSV, I know. I know, believe me. Yeah, Fahrenheit 451 is a good one by Ray Bradbury. 1984 is a really good one. I'm trying to think of another one. Orwell is just a big fan of dystopian futures. Mimi, you are amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much, Mimi. You were awesome. DSV, make sure you refresh for those sexy emotes. So, oh my goodness. Mimi, you were amazing and crazy at the same time, and I love you so much. I'm guessing it's just not going to do it. It's not liking it right now. The bot doesn't like me. Okay, so on to what we are talking about today. Immigration in the United States. I personally have my family. We're going to go in a little bit of an anecdote here. My family, I'm a mixed individual from different cultures, from different times. My mom's side is Hispanic. They have a lot of them lived in the state of Texas before it became Texas, and then part of them moved over during the Mexican Revolution in 1914, and moved to Texas, and then that spawned my mom's side of the family. My dad's side of the family, I'm not too sure where my German side came from, but I'm pretty sure they came over around mid 1800s. During the Great Migration from Germany to Missouri. And then my Cajun side, obviously, has been in Louisiana since the French and Indian War, or the 7 Years' War, as we call it. So, don't leave, DSV. You're amazing. So, my family's been in this country for a long, long time. And a lot of them were here before the state was, whether it was Texas or Louisiana, the state was part of the Union. So they were made American citizens by de facto. But the family that has emigrated to the U.S. From Germany and from Mexico, they did it, through the proper channels at the time, becoming citizens of this country through the legal aspect of it. So right now, I know there's a lot of talk about illegal immigrants, about immigration in general, about the use of the term aliens and illegal aliens and all the other terms. Honestly, by the definition, illegal alien, an alien is somebody not of this country, or of the locale. It's used for everybody that's not of a place. So even if you're from, a different city moving to another city, you're really an alien to that city, because you're just not of that place yet. And so our usage of this word, I don't think is, whether it's an illegal immigrant, an illegal alien, illegals in general, I have a problem with it. I don't see the problem with it. I think it's just people trying to demonize words to make them sound prettier and happier and fancier. But don't mistake that the people that do come over here illegally are breaking a law. It'd be the same thing as if I was to go to Germany on a visa, tourist visa, and just stay there. I would be illegally in that country. I would be breaking the law by being in that country. If I was to go to Mexico and do the same thing, though I'm pretty sure it's a little bit cheaper to become a Mexican citizen than it is to become an American citizen. And we'll go into those fees because I've seen them and they are ridiculous. Breaking the law is breaking the law. Exactly, I see. And that's how I feel about it. If you're breaking the law, whether it's coming into this country illegally or stealing a car, like it's still an illegal act. Breaking the law, yeah. Oh, the song. Oh my goodness. Now I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head. So I wanted to bring up some facts. I wanted to bring up some stuff off the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service. Their website is fairly interesting to read through. That is awesome, Icy. That's really awesome. I've worked with people that had their green cards when they were going through the citizenship process. I've also seen some people who were working on getting their citizenship, but it was just it's an extremely hard thing to do. Yes, exactly. We at DSV, I definitely agree with you. I think we need to drastically reform our immigration laws. I think we need to go through them and figure out, what's the best avenue. How do we make it to where it's better for both the people trying to move here and for the people who already live here? I mean, because there comes a point where I've seen a lot of people that are all for open borders, and they want, and I've been toying with the idea myself of open borders, but for me, the biggest issue is when you remove that boundary, when you remove that limitation of travel into a country, or into an area in general, you end up having the problem of a huge influx of people trying to work the same jobs. And if you don't regulate the amount of people coming in to limit the amount of people that are jobless, and until the economy can grow to handle that influx of people, and that's the biggest problem is you have, if you open those borders, then you're just gonna have a flood of people coming in. You're gonna have a flood of people moving into new areas. And they're going to be sitting and waiting a while until that area's job market can grow to the size of those people. And it takes time. It's not overnight. It's not like okay, now we have, 100 million people living in one little, okay, not 100 million, 100,000 new people that move into the city. Like, even the city of Houston, which is roughly around 5 million people living in this area, 100,000 new people coming into it would throw off the balance of the economy. And I think a lot of people don't understand that you can't just have that kind of that imbalance. You would end up with more poverty. You would end up with more crime, because poverty equals crime, honestly. And it has, and this is nothing against people coming, immigrants. This is nothing against those people. It's more of a, if you don't have the jobs for those people, if you don't have the economy to support those people, then they have nothing. They have no jobs. They have no income, and that causes more poverty in an area. And poverty, the higher your poverty number, the higher amount of your poverty, the higher amount of crimes you have. And it correlate. That is a correlation that you can see in most large cities. The larger cities have larger amounts of poverty population, and they also have a larger amount of crime. That's why a lot of people, when they, they move to the small towns, they move to the country to get away from the crime and the other aspects of city life that we either take advantage or take for granted, or we don't care for. So I'm not a fan of opening up the borders, but I am a fan of making it easier for people to come into this country, to make it easier for people to apply for permanent residency, to apply for their citizenship. It's something we should promote, and it's something that I think we as a country have been promoting for so long, that we are the place of, where everybody's dreams can come true. The United States is the place of everybody's dreams, and that's where everybody wants to be. And we've promoted this through international missions that we've done, through giving so much to countries that are less, developed than the United States. And a lot of people from these countries, from Africa, from Asia, from Central and South America, they think of the United States as this promised land, as this vast openness of wealth and charity. And to a certain extent, we're the United States is not hurting. Even our poorest poor are not as poor as a lot of the people in a lot of the rest of the world. But it's something that we've always promoted since World War II. It's something that we've always put out there to these other countries, so these people think of it as a virtual Eden. Well, yeah, I mean, but that's a problem we have. But I think the U.S. is just a beast, DSP, and that has to do with that has a lot of implications that are more than just diet. Well, it has a lot to do with dietary, but it's a lot of cultural stuff as well. Oh no, yeah, DSP. It's like, and this is something I learned. That, yeah, statistically, even our own lowest class are 1% of the world's, yeah, but that's cheap food, yeah. But DSP, obesity also has to deal with cultural backgrounds too. You have to understand, like, genetically, especially, like, okay, look at the Native American population. The Native American population, prior to the Europeans coming over, and lack of food regulation laws as well. Yeah, I would say I could agree with that to a certain extent. I see, but like the Native American population, they didn't eat a lot of dairy. They didn't eat a lot of beef. They didn't eat pork. They didn't eat a lot of that high fat, high the high fat content that a lot of Europeans did before they came over. So when the Europeans introduced their foods and their diets to a lot of the native cultures, especially alcohol, even though there's been some alcoholic beverages already in the Americas, you introduced a type of food that these people have not been genetically, trained to eat. Like the amount of sugar in soda here compared to European countries. The soda in European countries are high sugar. They're just not high fructose. They use sucrose instead of fructose. It's interesting. Yeah, I see. The United States uses high fructose corn syrup in a lot of our foods and drinks, where a lot of the European countries use sucrose, which changes the flavor, but I wouldn't say it changes the amount of complex carbohydrates in it. A lot of it just has to do with the genetic dietary needs of people. And I think a lot of people ignore that. They ignore that the European lifestyle was very fatty and very sugar and very, they had all these foods that were necessary basically to their survival in Europe during that period, while they were evolving as a group of individuals. And when you introduce that to cultures like Africa, where the African people are very, and same thing with the Americas, where they were very, still hunter-gatherer-esque, they weren't sedentary. They weren't stuck in one place like a lot of the European cultures and a lot of the Asian cultures were. And even with a lot of the Asian cultures, were very, rice and fish. That was a lot of their diet. It wasn't a lot of beef and pork and all these other, livestock animals. It's really interesting when you start looking into that kind of thing. And I mean, there's a reason why a lot of Native Americans, Hispanics, and people from Central and South America, especially that live in the United States, because we have this plethora of different kinds of food that we can access here, have higher rates of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease than other cultures. But we're getting off topic. So we'll have to tackle that at some other time. There's actually a lot of data on that. So the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service has a lot of information on their website, and that's where a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be showing y'all today is from, like the fees that we have to, or that people wanting to become citizens, people wanting to get status as a permanent resident here in the U.S. have to pay. The different qualifications for these things they're really really difficult to look through and figure out. Okay, do I qualify? Do I have? Is it because I'm in a? And that's why we always joke about people marrying, or at least in the service. When I was in the Army, we used to joke about women trying to marry soldiers to get the green card to come back to the great PX in the sky of the U.S. Because that is one of the provisions of applying for green card status, is whether your spouse is an American citizen. Hold on, let me pull this up real fast. So this is their naturalization fact sheet on their website. There it is. Wow, that's bright. Let me zoom in a little bit. Why is this not working? Oh yeah, it's Alt. Why can't I zoom in? What is I'm having issues right now. There we go. I forgot the hotkey for a second. I'm sorry. No, I don't want to talk to you, Emma. Why are you here? So this is about the naturalization. To be the general eligibility requirements specify that an applicant must be 18 years of age, be a lawful permanent resident. So they'd already have to have a right. They'd already have to hold a green card. And we'll get into green card eligibility here in a second. Have resided in the United States as a lawful permanent resident for at least 5 years. Have been physically present in the United States for at least 30 months. So before you apply for citizenship, you can't go take a trip somewhere else. Like, you have to be here in the state, in the country, for 2.5 years without ever leaving the United States. Like, you can't go to visit your family. No, yeah, lawfully, obviously. But, like, right here, I see, it says you have been physically present in the United States for at least 30 months. Like, you can't leave the country for 30 months before you apply for it. At all. Be a person of good moral character. So that's 2.5 years of not going anywhere. And if you're from, Canada, if you're from Germany, like, that's rough. Be able to speak, read, write, and understand English language. Honestly, a lot of the people in this country, who are American citizens have a hard time reading, writing, and understanding the English language. Believe me, read Twitter. Have knowledge of the U.S. government and history. And we'll get into, there's an actual practice test on this website that we're going to take as a community, guys. Be willing and able to take the oath of allegiance. So you have to pledge your allegiance to the United States, and that you will... Oh, I know I can. I'm not worried about passing that test. I kind of already know a lot of the questions they give on that test. Special naturalization provisions exempt certain applicants from one or more general requirements for naturalization. Spouses of U.S. citizens and members of the military constitute the main category. So, you can join the U.S. military as a green card holder, and you can work your way to citizenship that way. The majority of individuals naturalizing as spouses of the U.S. may do so 3 years after being admitted as a lawful permanent resident, rather than 5 years. Spouses of U.S. citizens stationed abroad may not be required to meet any particular residence or physical presence requirements. So that 30 months thing is kind of waived for those individuals. Members of the military who served honorably during certain periods of conflict may be eligible for naturalization, even though they have not been admitted as lawful permanent residents, even if they're under the age of 18. Members of the military who served honorably for at least 1 year at any time and apply for naturalization within a certain time after the military service are also exempt from general residence and physical presence requirements. So the people who have served in the U.S. military who are not American citizens are able to forego the 30 months of physical presence and been at least a permanent resident for 5 years. And children under the age of 18 who is a lawful permanent resident residing in the U.S. in legal and physical custody of the U.S. citizen parent, so their parents have to be citizens, or at least one of them, may automatically acquire U.S. citizenship. Child who's residing abroad, who's temporarily present in U.S. based, so basically stepchildren of like military members are also eligible to apply for naturalization under 18. And same thing for benefiting children. But like these kind of things, like these guys are each year. Yeah. I mean, it all again, Mimi. Like I said, with those people, it's a little bit different because that's more of a green card issue than a citizenship issue, and green card is a little bit stranger. It's a yes, no, and I agree. They served in the military, but it's weird. Like I said, the green card aspect of it is interesting and. Like, they go through different rules. It's so weird. And and I get it, but at the same time, it's like, and we'll get into that too, about the green card eligibility stuff. And yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand why they would deport them after promising them citizenship. That just sounds stupid and wrong to me. And again, they like the only way to fight that is going to be going through the immigration court system, which is a joke. It's overwhelmed right now, and it's been overwhelmed for years. And it's just it's like I always make fun of our court system as it is right now in legal and civic courts, but the immigration court is even worse off than both those courts put together. It's a hot mess and it needs to be fixed. And this is part of the problem is that we're too busy people are too busy focusing on the wrong thing when it comes to immigration. Or I believe that they're focusing on the wrong thing. I'm not going to say that they're focused. I believe they're focusing on the wrong thing instead of trying to fix what's broken with the system. They're just highlighting, oh, this person did this, they're bad. This group of people are for this, they're bad. Instead of trying to make it easier for people to get through the system in a timely manner without spending, money that they don't have. That's a lot of our issue in this country when it comes to immigration. And so these are some things I found interesting about the stats. That the U.S. welcomes 700 to 750,000 of citizens every year. Every year, that's freaking insane. And every year, almost 750,000 people are welcomed in this country as citizens. I see. That's to me that's insane. That's a lot of people. Where'd they go? Into the U.S.? No, like they just become American citizens. Like they're already here in this country. They've been in this country for 5 years already. I know. They've already been in this country for 5 years legally, mind you. So yeah, that's a lot of people that become American citizens every year. And of course, 73% of all of them live in the border states: California, New York, Florida, Texas, New Jersey, Illinois, Massachusetts, Washington, Virginia, Maryland. Virginia's interesting to me. Virginia and Maryland are interesting to me. That those two states. What state is that? I see. I can't. You're in Arizona, right? New Mexico. You're in New Mexico. I mean, does anybody really want to live in New Mexico that I see? Does anybody really want to live there? Y'all, New Mexico, I try to avoid New Mexico because I know all the nuclear testing they did in that state. There were a lot of nuclear bombs let off in y'all's desert. Just like Nevada. The leading metropolitan areas of residents: NYC, LA, Miami. That makes sense. This is interesting. The top countries of origin for American citizenship: People's Republic of China, Cuba. I get Mexico. I get India. I get. I mean, I understand it. I'm just surprised that China lets that many people out. So yeah, like this is the naturalized citizen for the past 15 years. Around 750,000 people every year. It's insane. We're all Geiger counters. Hey, as long as you don't glow in the dark, right? That's the rule, Icy. As long as you don't glow in the dark, you're all right. So here's the fees. These are the fees for. I'm gonna ignore this stuff. I'm looking more for stuff like application for advance permission to enter as a non-immigrant, either $585 or $930, just for the application. Application to register as a permanent resident or just status, $11.40. Application for a status as temporary resident, $11.30. Application to adjust status from temporary to permanent resident, $16.70. Like, this is American dollars that they have to pay to become permanent residents to apply for it. Here you go. Petition by entrepreneur to remove condition. Oh no, that's something different. Application for regional center designation under the Immigration Investor Program. So this is for, like, if you're using your status as an investor in American business. Yeah. Application for certificate of citizenship, $11.70. Like, these are the fees these people are paying to become American citizens. These are the fees people are paying to become, to be able to live here and work here legally. Application for waiver of ground of execute, like $930 for a waiver. Immigrant petition for alien entrepreneur, $3,675. Like, this is crazy. Application for permission to reapply for admission into the U.S. after deportation, $930. Petition for a non-immigrant worker, $460, like $500 just to work in the U.S. Like, this is to me. Okay, here you go. Immigration petition for alien workers, $700. To me, these prices are insane. They're outrageous. This is what we're asking people to pay the government to become to try to become legal citizens of this country. Why? Why are we charging them freaking that? Like, to me, this isn't, the Statue of Liberty says, "Bring me you're tired, you're sick, and you're poor." This is not how you bring your poor. Like, no poor person's gonna be able to spend freaking $1,200 to become a permanent resident of the U.S., which they have to be for 5 years before becoming a citizen. Like, this is what frustrates me the most, right here. This fee chart. And it's not like that was that much worse before. I mean, this one was, they were a couple $100 less. Well, this was double now, triple, or two and a half. Like, this is the stuff people have to do to become citizens of this country. And this is what I mean. We need to change it. We need to make it easier. We need to make it to where it's not. It's more. We need to make it where it's more beneficial for people to become legal citizens, to become legal green card holders, to become legal immigrants into this country, than it is to risk deportation, to risk coming over here the way that they do, to risk walking through the deserts of Arizona and New Mexico and Texas to come into this country legally. Like, to me, if I was a poor person in another country, I would take my chances out there in the freaking desert to come over here illegally than I would to spend freaking money I don't have. So, and this is the eligibility categories of the green card, like, to immigrant worker. So, to be an immigrant worker, do you have extraordinary ability in science, arts, education, business, or athletics? Are you an outstanding professor or researcher, multinational manager? Are you a member of a profession that requires an advanced degree? And this is not just the United States, mind you. For residency, this is pretty for par around the entire Western world. I use that term. So, like, places like the UK, Germany, France, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Like, this kind of questionnaire. Are you a specialist in science? Are you a specialist in a certain field? Are you an entertainer? Are you, like, this kind of qualifications for for status are very typical of other countries. It's not just an American thing. Are you a physician who agrees to work full-time in clinical practices as a professional, meaning your job requires at least a U.S. bachelor's degree or foreign equivalent? Skilled worker. Unskilled worker, meaning you perform unskilled labor requiring less than 2 years. So, like, this would be the majority of the illegal immigrants that are coming over. And it's just... Oh. I was like, green card for human trafficking. I didn't realize it said victims. So this is for asylum and refugee, which is what a lot of people are claiming as they are coming over into the U.S. and detained by ICE, is that they are seeking asylum. Asylum and refugee status. Asylum is basically you're claiming that if you hadn't left your country, you would be at risk of being killed or put into slavery or the likes of that. A refugee is usually somebody who is fleeing a war zone. And the biggest problem with it all is that because a lot of people are claiming asylum and they're claiming refugee status, this to investigate these things, the immigration department has to go and look case by case by case to see if they are actually people that need to be given asylum or given refugee status. And we just need to fix the investigation. We need to either hire more people to do it. We need to help out that department in what they need to do to get through all of the different cases. And it's unlikely with the amount of non-cooperation that we are getting from both sides. Both sides are not wanting to cooperate with each other, and it's stupid, and I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I think we need to work on it, and we need to fix it. We need to fix our immigration system. We've needed to fix it for the past 30 years, but nobody can agree on anything. So here's the civics practice test. So these are a couple of practice questions that they have on what's it called? On the citizenship test, on the naturalization test. Stop it. All right. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? A, to issue driver's license. B, to provide protection, police. C, to declare war. D, to provide schooling and education. I mean, I know the answer to this. That's the only one that's given by the Constitution to the federal government, is declare war. All the rest of the stuff is state. What is the supreme law of the land? The Constitution. B, the Emancipation Proclamation. C, the Articles of Confederation. Or D, the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, it's the Constitution. Emancipation Proclamation was Lincoln freeing the slaves in the southern states. Articles of Confederation were nullified after the signing and ratification of the Constitution. The Declaration of Independence just basically said we don't want to be Brits and no mo. What are two parts of Congress? A, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. B, the House of Representatives and the courts. C, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Or D, the Senate and courts. We're still in Declaration of Independence. Look, I love that Nicolas Cage movie. All right, National Treasure was fantastic. Y'all are correct. See, y'all are smart. Y'all could pass this, but I'm pretty sure a lot of Americans can't. What did Susan B. Anthony do? Founded the Red Cross. The first woman elected to the House of Representatives. Made the first flag of the United States, or fought for women's rights. love that movie. I know the answer to this. Is that your final answer, Mimi? Is D your final answer? No, it's D. She was a big member of the women's suffrage movement in the late 1800s. Yeah, she tried to vote in 1872 and went to jail because of it. Made the first flag. Even Betsy Ross didn't make the first flag of the United States. Stop it. And I don't know who the first woman elected to the House of Representatives is. In what month do we vote president? January, November, February, or October? Made our current flag. That I wouldn't doubt. Yeah, it's definitely B. Although January is the month that the president is sworn into office. How old do citizens have to be? How old do citizens have to be to vote for president? A, 21 years old and older. B, 35 and older. C, 18 and older. Or D, 16 and older. It's a trick question. Yeah, it's 18 and older, and I do not want 16-year-olds to vote. They're believe me. Shoot, at 18 years old, I wasn't even smart enough to vote. Come on. Like I did vote, but I wasn't as informed as of a voter at 18 years old. Yeah. And there's people that want it to be 21 and older. I think they should lower the drinking age to 18. Everything should be 18 years old. 18 years old, you're an adult, and that's when you should be able to do everything. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? The President, Congress, the United States, the state where you live. This is a trick question. I'm just letting y'all know. Yeah, it's the U.S., but the state of Texas does have its own pledge. Just saying. What is the name of the President of the United States right now? George W. Bush, Mike Pence, Barack Obama, or Donald J. Trump? I mean, these are... It obviously changes, but no, these are actually questions from the test I see. It's obviously Pence. I'm not even... That was silly. How many justices are on the Supreme Court? 11, 12, 9, or 10? It's obviously 10. Oh, it's 9. There are 9 Supreme Court justices. That way you'll never have a tie. Yeah, it's always an odd number. When it comes to something like the where voting is involved, odd numbers are always the go-to. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. Mexican-American War, World War I, Korean War, or World War II. Those are easy. This is silly. It is. It's the Mexican-American War. Oh, no. Now I remember what I messed up earlier. What is the name of the Vice President of the United States? Donald Trump. Oh, right now. Donald Trump, Mike Pence, Joe Biden, Dick Cheney. I mean, we just kind of joked about this earlier. Are you talking about Dick Cheney? Look, we don't talk about Dick Cheney because we're all afraid he's going to shoot us with a shotgun while we're bird hunting. What is one reason colonists came to America? For the experience traveling across the ocean. Freedom? To join a civic group? None of these answers. Spices. Correct. Colonists came to America because they wanted political liberty. And then they were taxed to high heaven, which is why they weren't taxed that bad, but they were taxed without representation. What are 2 cabinet-level positions? Secretary of Health and Human Services and Secretary of the Navy. Secretary of the Interior and Secretary of History. That's a job I want. I want to be Secretary of History. Secretary of Weather and Secretary of Energy. Secretary of State and Secretary of Labor. Yeah, I mean, all the other ones are kind of ridiculous. Because Secretary of Navy is actually a member of the Pentagon, and he's not part of the cabinet. It's an admiral. Secretary of Weather and Secretary of Energy. Ducky wants to be the Secretary of Weather. He wants to be in charge of weather. I just want to be Secretary of History. Somebody come up with that job and I will take it. I will be Secretary of History. No qualifications. I don't have a degree in history. I've only studied it. Just give me that job. Ducky tells the clouds when to snow. You snow now. Name one problem that led to the Civil War. Slavery, westward expansion, sugar, oil. I don't like this. I don't like the way this is answered. I mean, the obvious answer is A, but westward expansion was part of the problem too. Yeah, it's A and B, DSV. It's A and B. Like, that's my problem with that question. A and B. Well, yeah. I mean, but it was part of the problem. Westward expansion? And if we really want to break down... No, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that discussion about how the Civil War is weird. Really thought it would be oil. No, that was every other war after that, Ducky. Every other war after the Industrial Revolution was all about war. It was all about oil. When was the Constitution written? 1789, 1776, 1787, or 1790? Crap, this is one I actually pretty sure I know. Or sugar. I mean, it could have been about sugar. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's C. Oh, thank goodness. These two numbers were a little bit too close. Rum. Somebody bring me some rum. I like, these two numbers were really close. This is 1776, was Declaration of Independence, and even though we celebrate July 4th, it wasn't completely ratified until August of that year. August or September of that year. Who vetoes the bill? It was drafted July 3rd. Yeah, it was drafted July 3rd. Initial signatures were July 4th, and it wasn't completely signed until August. Mr. Veto. Who vetoes bills? The President, the Vice President, Speaker of the House, President pro tempore. Mr. Veto. No, it's the President. The President's the only one allowed to veto. He's the only person allowed to veto. That is his check in the checks and balances of making laws. But if he vetoes a bill, then it gets sent back to Congress. Congress can vote to override a veto, and it becomes a law anyways. POTUS, also known as Mr. Veto. I'm just going to start calling the President Mr. Veto from now on. Yes, I would like to introduce everybody to Mr. Veto, Donald J. Trump. Right? That works? That works? Yeah, it takes 2/3 of majority. But I mean, in most cases, DSV, the Senate can pull together 2/3 of a vote. Most cases. It's the House that usually has the problem. Has he vetoed? I don't think he's vetoed anything recently. He's vetoed 2 bills? What is 251? What do you mean? You should play the Schoolhouse Rock about, I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill. Googleized. How many amendments does the Constitution have? I know this one. No, the Constitution does not have 2. Get out of here. Oh, the 2/3 majority of the Senate is 66. Well, I mean, it does have 2, but not just 2. Get out of here. Is the one about guns and the one about... Oh, God. No, the one on pineapple pizza should be freaking... It's outlawed. Get out of here. Pineapples on pizza. It's gross. Yeah. Pineapples are only good warm when they're on an upside-down cake. I know the answer to this one, too. There have been 27 amendments in the Constitution, currently. No, it is not too short to be elitist. I mean, you're close. It's over 20. Really, the most important ones are the first 10, along with the 13th. And the 13th is still skeptical because of the way it's worded. Oh, and the one that took away prohibition. That one counts, too. I think that's the 15th Amendment, 16th Amendment. Because the Prohibition Amendment was stupid. Prohibition doesn't work, by the way. Next question. When do we celebrate Independence Day? Is it June 30th, July 4th, March 4th, or January 1st? You got 3 so wrong. Ducky, I know you're... Easy. January 1st is obviously Independence Day. They did 2 movies on it. I mean, that one's easy. July 4th is easy. What ocean is on the west coast of the United States? Is it the Arctic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Southern Ocean, or Atlantic Ocean? Again, this question is misleading because if you're looking at the west coast of Alaska, then it's the Arctic Ocean. But it's Pacific Ocean. Right? Right? That counts, right? The Arctic Ocean goes to the west coast of Alaska, right? I'm just being nitpicky. What is the name of the Speaker of House of Representatives of right now? Is it Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, or Mike Pence? Pacific time. It's on specific time. Duh. She must not be... Mimi doesn't like naming anybody. She's just going to make them all. He and she... She does remind me of Dolores Umbridge, though. A little bit. It's Nancy Pelosi. Just a little bit. What, Icy? Don't give me that face. Yeah, Chuck Schumer is the majority leader in the Senate. Yay! We got 100%, 20 out of 20. We can become citizens, right? If you would like to keep practicing, you can take another practice test. You're so close. Wait, do they have different questions? I just want to see if they have different questions. Oh, they have different questions. Look at that. Oh, yeah, the test is like 100 questions, I believe. Oh, do they have the official one, Waddlebeard? Okay, let's find the BuzzFeed. We're gonna do it. Oh, it has 100. Oh, I bet you can't get 12 out of 20 right. I bet you I can, BuzzFeed. What is the supreme law of the land? Constitution. What are the first 3 words of the Constitution? We hold these things true. What? No, we the people. Fuck. I forgot. I was on the wrong document. What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? Press. Bear arms. I want bear arms. Can I get bear arms? Can I get bear arms? Just, I'll take off these arms and put on bear arms. Right? I want that. The right to arm bears. Let's get the right to arm bears. How many amendments does the Constitution have? We already answered this. 27. House of Representatives says how many voting? It's got 435. If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president? That would be the Speaker of the House. Who is the Chief Justice of the United States right now? Right now it is John Roberts. Which power belongs to the states and not to the federal government? Which power belongs? Print money. Obviously. It's obviously printing money. What is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives right now? We just talked about this, Nancy Pelosi. Which is a right only for the citizens of the United States. Vote in federal elections. When is the last day you can send in federal income tax forms? That would be April 15th, unless you have an exemption or a stay from the IRS, which, yeah. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Obviously, that is Thomas Jefferson, right? Right. It was John Jay. I like that. That John Jay is a pretty awesome name. It's John Jay. It's alliteration. It was Daddy Trump. It was totally Daddy Trump, which was not one of the 13 original states. Well, that would be Florida. Florida was not an original state. It was actually owned by Spain until they gave it to us. Who is the father of our country? America, I'll be your daddy. I will be your daddy. No, damn it. Which of these wars was not fought by the United States in the 1900s? That would be, in the 1900s. In the 1900s, it was Spanish American. Because that was the late 1800s. It was right before the 1900s. That's a little bit. Who yo daddy America? I would be Poppy. I mean, maybe. America can call me Poppy later. Who was the president during the Great Depression and World War II? I'm pretty sure it was that guy, FDR, who spent 4 terms in president and died and then caused the 22nd Amendment. Which country did the U.S. not fight against in World War II? We didn't fight against...
Hang out, hurry up, you better take a guess.
Thank you, Liz, for the sparks. We didn't fight with Russia until after World War II, where we looked at Stalin and said, what the hell are you doing over there? Stop trying to spread your dirty red ways. Which of these states border Canada? All of them. All of them border Canada. Wisconsin does not. Wyoming does not. Vermont does, though. And Massachusetts is not, definitely not. It's where all the Boston people are from. What is the name of the national anthem? It should be Born in the USA, right? Should be Born in the USA. Get Ducky. No, not All-Star Smash Mouth. Get the hell out of here. Texas borders Canada. It does. Because every other state is too small. Party in the USA. My country 'tis of thee. Battle hymn of the Republic. Really? It should be Born in the USA, right? Right? Or should it be, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm feed. I'm definitely feed. That's what the taxation is all about. Which is not a national U.S. holiday. New Year's Day, Columbus Day, Labor Day, or Easter. Easter is not. I passed the United States citizenship test. Yeah, BuzzFeed, because I'm not an idiot, first of all. Second of all, we just kind of went over a lot of these answers. I know this one, I don't get paid for it. All right? It's the one day you don't get paid for as a state employee is Easter. Look, I was thinking of we hold these truths to be self-evident. Nah, don't ask me. Look. Sometimes there are 100 possible questions on the civics test. 100. Yep. And you must answer 12 correctly in order to pass. So that's what, 60%? What group of people was taken to America and sold as slaves? Canadians, obviously. It's definitely Canadians. I got too excited. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the states. What is one power of the states? We already looked at that on the other one. What is the rule of law? The rule of law? What is the rule of law? The rule of law. Everyone but the president must follow the law? Government. That's what Nixon thought. Government does not have to follow the law. All laws must be the same in every state. Everyone must follow the law. And so, everyone must follow the law. Why do you give me the same question? We all know July 31st is Independence Day. What are 2 rights in the Declaration of Independence? Liberty and justice. What? No! Liberty and justice is right! I don't care about pursuit of happiness. That's bullshit. Your question is stupid. Liberty and justice. Oh, I didn't... I just accidentally clicked on it, and I still got it right. When must all men, soon to be everybody, because, yeah. When must all men register for selective service? Men don't have to register. Oh, another Mr. Veto question. Between the ages of 18 and 26, you have to register for selective service, which means if that we're in a draft, if there's ever a draft, then if you're 18 to 26 and of sound body and mind, you're forced to join the military. If the president can no longer serve, who becomes president? This guy, right here. This guy becomes president. If the president can't serve, just call me up. Who did the United States fight in World War II? I thought it said something completely different, and it's definitely Japan, Germany, and Italy. Everybody. The Americans fought everybody. We just don't care. We're America. The U.S. versus the globe. We're two-time, back-to-back World War champs in this country. All right? Name one state that borders Canada. Maine. But Rhode Island. No, Rhode Island doesn't. Rhode Island barely borders anything. The state's so small. The city of Houston is larger than it. Not really, but almost. What was one important thing that Abraham Lincoln did? He declared war on Great Britain. I'm glad this was the answer. Saved or preserved the Union. He made a movie with Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, and so did Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, Gangs of New York. I loved Abraham Lincoln in Gangs of New York. He was fantastic. He hunted vampires. What's up, Bunny? I have not watched that movie. I'm just letting y'all know. I've not watched Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? To issue driver's license, to provide... This was in the other point. Stop giving me the same practice questions. What is an amendment? You actually like that movie? Vampires Confederates. Same thing. I mean, you're not wrong. John Wilkes Booth was definitely a vampire, guys. Definitely. What is an amendment? The beginning of the Declaration of Independence, preamble to the Constitution, change to the Constitution, or an introduction? So obviously change the Constitution. There's been 27 of them. Now y'all won't ever forget that there's been 27 amendments, and the first 10 are the most important, followed by the 13th and the one that canceled out Prohibition. All that awesome action. Now I'm going to have to watch it. The Federalist Papers supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution. Name one of the writers. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, or James Madison? Try to remember. Federalist Papers. I'm trying to remember who was on what side. You had the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. I think it was Thomas Jefferson. Nope. It was definitely James Madison. Damn it. I couldn't remember if it was Madison or Jefferson. That's my own damn fault. I should have known that one. E, none of the above. What movement tried to end racial discrimination? That was definitely women's suffrage. Right? Prohibition. Prohibition was the movement to end racial discrimination. Prohibition doesn't work. F Prohibition. Name one right for the United States citizens. Freedom of speech. Attend public school. Freedom of religion. Oh, name one right only for... Okay. Name one right only for United States citizens. Run for federal office. Because this is a right to all humankind, and this is a right to all humankind if you're American, if you're, in the country of the United States. The 13 original states. Name three. Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, Washington, Oregon, California. It's obviously these. The West Coast. West Coast was the first coast, right? New York, Kentucky, and Georgia. Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida. You say C. I say A. It's A. Kentucky wasn't one of the original 13 colonies. Is this not a yes/no question? I mean, no. It is not. All right. When was the Constitution written? We already went over this one. I thought it was all true false, right? Name 2 national U.S. holidays. April Fool's Day is definitely a national holiday, guys. That is my day because I'm a fool. It's a double entendre. Citizenship Day. Is there really? I need to look this up. Is there really a Citizenship Day? Let's see if there's Citizenship Day. September 17th. Oh, it's also Constitution Day. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. I like that Citizenship Day and Constitution Day are the same. We don't celebrate them. They're not federal holidays, so whatever. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them. Only citizens with a job can vote. Citizens 18 and older can vote. Citizens by birth only can vote. Citizens 17 and older can vote. We the people. I know I'm not a federal holiday. What's up, Milanix? How are you doing? All right, look. One of those mess-ups was on accident, and then the other one was, yeah, because I just couldn't remember who was a Federalist. I brought up this thing to show y'all that Australia is just as strict about their citizenship as we are here. But this is going to be a mess in St. Cloud. This is about Somali refugees moving to St. Cloud, and there's a lot of pushback. I will say that it's not just in Minnesota that there's a lot of pushback on immigration, especially from Middle Eastern and Muslim strong countries. A lot of the European countries are having a lot of pushback. A lot of the United States is having a lot of that pushback. Look, I don't care. Honestly, if you want to come to this country and you want to do it legally, I'm all for it. I am. I'm all for it. You want to come here? Come here completely legally. Come do it. I'm also for reforming our current immigration, rules and laws. I think it should be easier for people to come to this country and become citizens. I think it should be easier for people to come here legally and want to come here legally. I don't have a specific answer to the problems that we're doing here. It would be that has to deal because that's more of a. I want to get into it, Mimi, but that's more of a. I'm trying to think of the proper term for it because I don't want to use a term that a lot of people tend to use for it. No, it's not that it's just a hot button. It's more of a. We have a fear of outside influences, and as just that's our tribal mentality that goes back to the days of when everybody's families were hunter-gatherers in a tribe, and we you didn't trust anybody from the outside. That's just something that we've always had as human beings. And sometimes it spills over to our fear of immigrants, and it does. And it's the xenophobia. It's xenophobia, but at the same time, xenophobia is not always a bad thing. And I don't want to say that xenophobia is always good. Bunny, I agree, and that's what kind of my last statement was about. I don't I know that a lot of European countries are starting to push back because of the issues that are caused by the groups moving into them. And I understand a lot of that, and that's what I mean by xenophobia is not always a bad thing, but it's doing it out of moderation. You have to be willing to accept people for who they are, while also trying to. Both sides are in the wrong, and that's what I'm trying to say. The individuals committing the horrible acts that are happening in Europe of the gang issues, the trying to enforce strict laws in just a small area. I think my biggest problem with that is that I am a big fan of integration of everybody. I think everybody should be willing to live together and not cultivate these areas of just one cultural group. And I like here in Houston, right around the corner from my house, there's a place that we call Little Asia. It's a lot of the Asian community lives in that area, and I go there a lot because I love the food. I go there for boba. I go there for sushi. I go there for Vietnamese food. I'm always in that area. But even in that area itself, if you're not from that community, you get looked at differently. And I think the same would be if when I went to New York City and I went to the Bronx, because I'm not Puerto Rican, and I don't speak Spanish, I didn't feel as welcomed in that area. Yeah. So we need, as people, we need to evolve to the point where we're not afraid of other people, but we also need to understand that to live with other people, we can't force our ideas on them. Yeah, I cultivate mutual understanding. I agree with you, IC. And I know a lot of the arguments currently in this country when it comes to, especially when it comes to immigrants from Muslim countries, is this fear that they will apply certain laws that we as Americans don't agree with in their communities. And to a certain extent, I agree with that. I don't want people trying to change the laws to fit their religion, because I don't think anybody should do that. I don't think that Christians should do that. I don't think that pagans should do it. I don't think that Buddhists should do it. Although Buddhists are kind of nice people, so I can't really hate on them. And most Christians are nice people too, and most Muslims are nice people. But to fully make a law system based off your religion, I'm not a fan of, especially in this country where we have the freaking First Amendment, where I have the right to say the ridiculous things that I say on the stream. I know also that I have to temper some things that I say, because I don't want to come off as insensitive. I don't want to come off as hateful, because I'm not. I don't hate anybody. I don't. There's too much energy to hate people, especially to hate people based on where they're from, what they believe in. Maybe that's what we need. We need to teach more people to be that way. I think we need to teach our children to be more accepting of people for who they are and not to care. I think I have a hard time, because I was told, because I've always claimed that I'm colorblind, that I don't see somebody based on the color of their skin. I don't see somebody based on their religion. That's not how I value people. It's not how I distinguish whether a person is someone I'm willing to engage with. It's just not how I was brought up. That's not how my parents brought me up. That's not how being in the military, being a military brat, everybody that I came in contact was from all different walks of life and from different cultures. So it was easy for me to ignore that and accept people for who they were, based on, my interactions with them. But I've been criticized for it because that's not the thing, apparently. And I have a problem with that. I feel like we shouldn't judge each other based on what we look like, what religion we practice. I mean, bunny, but right? How dare I judge people on the contents of their character? Huh. Weird. Where have I heard that before? Judging people based on the contents of their character. Somebody help me out. Where have I heard that? No, I know where it's from. Some guy in the 60s said it at a speech, during a speech in Washington, D.C. Forgot who he was. I think he was pretty important. Definitely not Nixon. Look, I'm not allowed to talk about Nixon, Mimi. I have made a promise to my moderator that I'm not allowed to talk about Nixon. Why? I see, but that's legitimate though. I'm sorry. I have the same beliefs though. But that's just because if you've ever interacted with Scientologists, you'd understand. Ducky, I'm giving you a free pass to go hang out for about 5 minutes while I go on a rant. Yeah, I see. I can understand. Like, and that's part of the problem. I think a lot of our problem too. I mean, we as people tend to use our personal experiences and personal interactions with one person to judge a full group of people. Thank you for the sticker, I see. I'm giving Ducky a little bit of a break right now because I'm going to talk about Nixon. Okay, so Richard Nixon. This is my thing with Richard Nixon. And this is why I'm not allowed to talk about Richard Nixon. Is because Richard Nixon wasn't as bad as of a guy as we tried to paint him out to be. He was a jerk. Like, don't get me wrong. He was a jerk. He spied on the Democratic Party before his election. He got caught. That is the only reason we all hate Nixon. Because the man ended Vietnam, or he ended the Vietnam conflict. He opened up relations with China. Like, he did a lot of things that were good. But we all remember him for Watergate. Honestly, he didn't do anything that no other president didn't do at the time. He just got caught. Crap. I mean, the presidents are still doing it to each other. That is my thing on Nixon. I think that a lot of people look at Nixon and they think, oh yeah, thank you for the sparks. They think he was this just horrible man. Yeah, he thought he was above the law. Don't get me wrong. A lot of presidents think they're above the law. That's just apparently the role of that office gives these people of a mightier than, holier than thou idea. It is not just Trump. I see Barack Obama thought the same thing. Is mine. Thank you for the host, Andy. Freaking Clinton thought the same thing. Thank you so much for the sparks, Andy. Shoot. Freaking LBJ thought the same. LBJ, you want to talk about a jerk? LBJ was a jerk. The man signed the Civil Rights Act, but he was still a jerk. Yeah, oh man. No, hey, no problem, Andy. Like, dude, like, you just showing up is we're kind of just going, we're just rambling right now. So we've we took three citizenship tests, and proved that we are, as a collective, smart enough to pass the U.S. citizenship test. No, LBJ was.
Hurry up! You better take a guess.
Thank you for the sparks. I mean, if you read some of the stuff that he did while he was in office, making staff members watch him pee, showing them his junk. Yeah, he held meetings while he was taking a freaking poop. Like, he was an outspoken racist, but he still did something very, very important, which is sign the Civil Rights Act. So I can't really hate the guy too much. Though, I mean, the Civil Rights Act was kind of Kennedy's pet project at the time that he just took over. Hello, Megan. How are you doing? It's just we like I've said in previous episodes, we look at certain presidents and we tend to forget the bad things about them. We look at them and we tend to think of only the good things, or in some people's cases, we only think about the bad things. We don't look at the whole story of their presidency. Just like Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson was, kind of a jerk off too. Oh man, was he a jerk off actually? I honestly, to become the president of the United States, you kind of have to be a freaking giant dick. I think the only person I don't think who's been a huge, giant, freaking jerk as president, honestly, has been George W. Oh, and Carter. I take that back. I love Carter. I don't like his presidency, but he's a genuine good guy. Yeah, you have to be kind of a giant jerk to become president of the United States. Except for Carter and I think George W. I think those are the only two people I can honestly say are probably not giant jerks. Everybody else, though, I think it just that's the kind of character you need to have to make it through. We look at our presidents. We put them on this pedestal. They're not as powerful as we think they are. I mean, they're not, puppets either, but they're not as powerful as we think they are. But to make it to that point where they, we can look at the DNC right now. So the Democratic National Committee is trying to figure out who they're going to have run against Trump in 2020. They currently have, I think, 22 candidates. Oh, I would have loved Perot as president. Come on. I would have loved, you want to know the man I wanted to become president? Ron Paul. I really, really rooted for Ron Paul. Not just because he's a Texan, mind you. Because he lives in the great city of Corpus Christi. Not just because he's a Texan, but because I'm just a big fan of Ron Paul. But Perot, I think, would have been fun. Perot would have been fun. Those big ears, come on. No, I think so the DNC is I think they might have used him to I agree, Andy. I agree that Bob Dole was probably a poor pick. And I think that's kind of the issue is that as we lead up to this 2020 election, I have been looking at the candidates that are running for the Democratic nomination. Honestly, I think it's going to come down to Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, and neither of them are going to be able to beat Trump. That's just my own belief. But I've been looking at it because it's interesting to see how they go from these giant pools of people. The Republicans had the same thing the past 3 elections. They go from these giant pools, and then they have to whittle it down to one person. And after watching the mess that was the DNC in the last election, this has been a whole new mess and has been fun to watch. Bunny, that's what I and a lot of people have been saying. What's up, Foxy? How are you doing? That's what I and a lot of people have been saying, is that they need to learn from their mistakes. You don't try to fight Trump with somebody who you think is kind of like Trump. Like, that's not the proper way to go at him. And I've said it.
Your booty is mine.
Thank you for the host there, Foxy404. I think the people that would do well against Donald Trump would be somebody like what's her name? Andrew Yang is one of them, and I think Tulsi. I think's her name. That's her name. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. That's the other one. Those two individuals, I think, actually would have a chance. Tulsi, Oklahoma. I think they would have a good chance going against Trump. Look, I'm not going to vote for either Trump or whoever the DNC throws in there, unless, you know, Andrew Yang decides to change some of his policies. If he gets the nomination, but they're not going to. Because I from watching a lot of these people that are running speak, most of them are trying to attack Trump at his own game. Tulsi Gabbard is a anti-interventionalist, kind of socialist. I don't like a lot of her domestic policies, and that's why I'll never vote for her. But I do agree with her anti-war, interventionalist stance. If she could change her social programs here in the United States, change her social ideals, I would be all for her. And Andy, I think that's what's going to carry. I mean, it's honestly, it's going to be hard to beat Trump in the first place. He's an incumbent, and most incumbents win. Second of all, the economy is doing fantastic, and nobody ever loses if they're an incumbent and the economy is doing well. Oh, you're thinking of Bunny. You're thinking of AOC. Oh yeah, no. AOC's got her own issues. And I'm not going to personally attack AOC. Her policies and her explanation of her policies are dumb. They're just not thought out. They're not well thought out. Not saying that anything I say is well thought out, because a lot of it isn't. Because but I'm speaking my opinion, so I'm not trying to push policy. But no. Tulsi Gabbard is AOC can't run. AOC can't run for president until, because she's, I think, 30 now. So she's still got another presidency. I am actually of age to become president of the United States. I mean, yeah, a lot of people do, Foxy. And that's part of the problem, though, is that yeah, I can actually run for president this year for the next election because I'm of age now. But I don't care what celebrities think about politicians. Celebrity stances on politics are usually don't mean jack shit. Find me a celebrity who's actually really active in politics, other than Sean Penn. But Sean Penn would have given Stalin, 3 cheers. So, be present, dude. There was a time in the city of Flagstaff, Arizona, that my name was on about 10 ballots for mayor. For mayor of Flagstaff, Arizona. I would not want to be president. You kidding me? Wouldn't want to be a politician. Give me the lobbyist job, though. I will be a lobbyist any day of the week, because that's where the money's at. Dude, okay, I love Mike Rowe, but I like Mike Rowe because he is a genuine realist. Yeah, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I'm not going to tell you anybody who to vote for. I'm not. I refuse to tell anybody who to vote for. I will tell you who I'm voting for, and that's it. Wait, Mike Rowe's an opera singer? I am a Shady Rays brand ambassador. Lifetime guarantee. Reasonable prices. Right there. You ever lose them, they're stolen, broken, they will send you a pair for the cost of shipping and handling. I know, I just had to do it. I am having my black pair of sunglasses sent back to me because I lost them. And every purchase goes to feed 11 meals for Feeding America. Now I want to hear him sing. I've listened to him narrate. I love Mike Rowe, though. I like that would be my dream, is to be Mike Rowe. Except not doing the dirty jobs. I'm okay with not doing dirty jobs. I would love to meet Mike Rowe too. Yeah, but I'm a big advocate of trade schools, and I'm a big advocate of people going to learn trades over going to college. So I mean, we're kind of similar, right? Kind of. Mike, give me a call. Yeah, I knew he was in Conroe. So, but yeah, no, the DNC is right now at 22. I think 22 candidates. They're gonna have to whittle it down to 1 by this time next year to run against President Trump. Trump, I still think, is going to win, because I think a lot of people who didn't vote for Trump before are going to have a hard time not voting for him, unless they are really, really strong anti-Trumpers. It's just that's just going to be what it is, and I'm really interested. I really do think that Andrew Yang would be a really good candidate to go against Trump, and maybe Yang will run again in 2024. Oh yeah! Thank you for the sparks. I'm actually, let's see, I'm actually looking at I think Dan Crenshaw.
Hurry up! You better take a guess.
Thank you for the sparks. Nope. I cannot rap. I do not have the talent to rap. I am more of a lounge singer. No, I think they will, Bunny. I think they will choose somebody really bad. I think they'll choose somebody really, really poor. It's going to be Biden or Warren, and they're going to fail. I think Dan Crenshaw is going to be the next Republican candidate after Trump. Foxy is just not what I do, man. Right now we're talking about politics. This is what the PieRat TV show is all about, man. What do you mean, Icy? Why the what? Dude, just because I'm brown doesn't mean I can rap, dude. I like I said, I sing lounge music. I sing church music. I'm really good at that. I'm sorry. This is what we do every Friday night, man. We have PieRat TV. We talk about politics. We talk about history. We talk about current events. Dude, Andy, I would totally do it. You can ask anybody in here, Foxy. I'm always singing. Always. During the middle of games, I'm always singing. I'll be playing video games Monday through Thursday and singing. It's just what I do. But yeah, so I think it'll be interesting. I think Dan Crenshaw will be definitely in the front. He's definitely making a name for himself in the Republican Party. I like him. I like him as a person, and I think he would be a good candidate for the Republican Party in 2024. If he's of age. I don't know if he is yet. Later, Foxy. Yeah, come in tomorrow night. Yeah, a face for radio. For sure, Andy. For sure. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, I don't think the Democrats are going to win in 2020. I don't think they stand a chance, honestly. And it's been funny watching that everything. If the next debate they do have, I do want to kind of, like we did with the CNN town hall that they did a couple weeks ago. I do want to go back and look at through all the stuff that they come up with. So he's 35. Okay, so he. I mean, if Trump wasn't the incumbent, he could run right now for president. I couldn't remember if he was 30 or if he was 30. Like, I knew he was over 30. I just don't know if he was 30 or older. Because I know AOC, I think she's 30. So, but that's going to be it for me tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you missed any of it and you'd like to go back and watch it, definitely check it out on YouTube. It'll be on there tonight. I usually put unedited version, and I know my brother has been getting after me because he wants me to cut out intermissions, but I didn't have an intermission tonight, so got you there. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to check me out on Twitter. Check me out on Mixer. I'm PieRatKing everywhere. That's just what I go by. Oh, he was born in Scotland. Well, was he born in Scotland as a... See, okay, here's the thing, though. Was he the son of a military member, or was he just a Scot? Because if he was born in Scotland and he's just, to Scottish parents, then, yeah, he can't be president ever. Now I'm going to have to look this up. Now you're making me look this up. He was born in Aberdeen, United Kingdom. Born to American parents. Bam. Wait a minute. He grew up... Hold on. Now I'm reading something, because I just read something that he grew up in the same town I grew up in. Which means I probably ran into him at some point. And he's my age, so... Huh, interesting. Anyways, as I was saying, I will be back tomorrow night. Dude, I would totally buddy up with him. I'd be friends with him. He's a freaking SEAL. I would love to hang out and talk with him any day of the week. The dude's a SEAL. He's a freaking combat vet, lost an eye, has a Captain America eye. Come on. Oh, totally, Andy. I will totally invite you. We'll go, invite him out for a beer or steak or barbecue, something. Thank you for the sparks. PieRat TV will be back next week.
Hurry up, you better take a guess.
PieRat TV will be back next week for another round. We'll see what we're going to talk about. I usually don't make a choice until the day of Friday. I will be back streaming tomorrow night for Song Request Saturday. So if you want to come hang out and watch some video games, I'll usually play Call of Duty Black Ops because I can play music chosen by you wonderful people in my community. And play it and listen to some jams. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It really does mean a lot. I've really been enjoying doing this web show every week. I really need to see if I can make it twice a week and, have enough content for you guys and have enough to discuss with you guys. I'm really glad that a lot of you are hanging out, discussing, even if y'all don't agree with everything I say, and even if you want to call me an idiot and, say, PieRatKing, stop talking about Richard Nixon, I really do appreciate your support and y'all's conversations. It really does mean a lot. But I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Yo ho